Indiana. We are so excited to hear from James Songster in just a few moments. He's going to be talking about customer service magic. This is a recorded event, just so everybody is aware. If you have questions or comments, please feel free to utilize the chat feature. You guys have already been doing an amazing job this morning with that. So keep that up, and we'll have a chance for questions at the end of the presentation as well. So again, you can put those in the chat feature, and I will read those to James on your behalf.
Thank you.
At this time, I will go ahead and introduce John Ross with IUS.
Thank you very much, Amber. Thank you, James, for showing up, and to everyone else in attendance and the more that are pouring in. Thank you to Caesars Southern Indiana. They've been a huge supporter of this event, a huge supporter of many events around our community, so we're very grateful for them. Thank you to IU Southeast School of Business, a wonderful pillar in our community. Make sure you look them up for any undergraduate or graduate degrees, especially their nationally ranked MBA program. Very proud of that. One Southern Indiana, thank you for all the services you all provide, Amber included, to our community and for hosting this program. And finally, thank you to Leader 411. Check them out for any information on leadership or edutainment or consulting, whatever you need. Check them out at www.leader411.com. Back to you, Amber.
All right, thank you. And again, thank you to all our sponsors, because this would not be possible without you. And so now I am going to introduce and read a brief bio about James Songster. I had the pleasure of meeting him earlier this week via Zoom, and I think you guys are in for a real treat today. So James Songster, being a professional magician, didn't know if you guys knew that, he's an expert trainer on the subject of emerging leadership skills, and that's what makes him a legendary double threat. As a gifted magician, James Songster has established his reputation for creating magical memories exclusively for families and family events. His shows have been seen by thousands of enthralled families, and he's been twice recognized as the best dinner show in Orlando. So I think we need to go to Orlando. What makes him unique is that James pairs all of that with his passion for developing emerging leaders and teaching leadership skills. For nearly 3 decades, he has trained Walt Disney World cast members and is a recipient of the prestigious Disney Legacy Award. That's one of the highest one of the highest recognitions presented by Walt Disney Company. His experience and expertise in the delivery of development programs on the subject of emerging leadership training has made him highly sought out by universities, colleges, and organizations looking to improve their own emerging leadership skills. In 2017, he launched his own specialized series of seminars and workshops, combining his knowledge of Disney heritage and operating philosophies with his love of magic. So this has made it possible for us to be here today, and I am proud to present James Songster. So please welcome him.
Oh, Amber, thank you very much. That was really, really flattering. And I know that traditionally 2 things happen. One, whoever the presenter is that wants to talk, it comes in and spends the first 5-10 minutes of their time telling everybody about their background and showing all their skills. I really, really, really want to skip right past that stuff. If you guys want to know more about me, please visit my website, which is betterleadershipskills.com. And also, I know that everybody in this day and age has got their technology now, and half of the time, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get in there and you're trying to screenshot, take pictures of the slides that I'm showing you. There are going to be some slides there. Don't worry about it. I would really prefer that you stay present and stay in the moment. My email is right there on the screen. If you will drop me an email with the subject line Marketing Palooza, I will send you the slides that I'm going to be presenting today. So stay in the moment. Don't go off and try to capture all the slides. I'll be happy to send those slides to you. Also, one of the things that I did promise is that this was going to be as interactive as we can with such a large group. I can't believe how many people have come in and joined this group today. But before we're done, my promise to you, my brand promise is that this will include an interactive magical moment. And for that, I did provide some ideas of things that you would want to have with you. I suggested that you find some note paper, little pieces of a 3x5 card or index cards or just Post-it notes, and then you wanted to have a pen, a coin of some sort, and a key. But we won't need those until a little bit later. And I'll get back to what we're going to do with those. So we're here for Marketing Palooza, and we're kicking it off this way. I've got a lot to cover in a very short amount of time, so this may go a little bit fast. And I do apologize if I get really wound up, because I get really, really passionate about this. So let's get right into it. Save questions for the end. You can always put them to Amber. And by the way, a little technique, a trick for getting your questions to Amber, start it with a Q. So if you have a question, start your message with a Q. That way Amber can be looking for those, and she knows that those are the questions that we're going to be going with. We're talking about marketing, and we're going to get into why we're starting with this presentation first. But here's my goal, and it's a lesson that I've learned at Walt Disney World in just about everything I've done, because I've spent my career at Walt Disney World developing other cast members, working with groups and organizations to come to Walt Disney World. And as much as I want to make this just all about the education, I've learned over time, it's really about having fun while we're doing it, all right? So I don't think we can go wrong if we use this as our touchstone. So what we're talking about is customer service magic. And I know that this is a marketing conference, okay? This is Marketing Palooza. And if you haven't already registered for the next two speakers, make sure you do that, because they've got some great ideas for you. But if this is Marketing Palooza, why are we talking about customer service? And I'm gonna ask you right now, think about this. What is your number one marketing tool? What is it that really helps promote your brand? I mean, there's going to be talk about social media initiatives and how to create viral videos that gain eyeballs and build traction and bring people to your website. But really, it's the experience when they engage with you, okay? It's the customer service magic. People come to Walt Disney World and they don't talk about the commercials. They don't talk about the ads. What they talk about is the experience that they had at Walt Disney World. It influences their decision to return. And that, I think, is key right here. What is it that you're doing that is influencing their decision once they've engaged with you to want to come back? And are they telling other people about you? Creative marketing grabs their attention, and you need that, but the experience is what determines whether or not they have a desire to come back again, and maybe even more, whether or not they become an advocate for your brand and tell others. So for our conversation today, I want you to kind of lock this in, right? Say it with me. I am a customer. I have customers. Because unless you literally live in a space where you never come into contact with any other person in any other capacity, you are a customer and you have a customer. That's why we're starting with customer service magic. All right. If that sounds right, if you guys are ready to dig in, everybody drop a thumbs up into the chat box. Let me know that you're ready to really dig into this, and we are going to be moving fast. All right. So if your goal is to deliver the best customer service, which way would you go? Are you going to base this on the transaction or the interaction? Now, when we say transaction, of course, the reason we're in business is to be in business, right? But it doesn't have to be cash. Maybe it's a service. Maybe it's a product that you provide. Maybe it's a skill that you have. Whatever that is, that's what you provide. That's what people come to you for. That's what they're looking for. So if you're in business and you're responsible for customer service, is it a transaction or an interaction? And of those two choices, this is where it gets down to. This is what's critical here. Which one of them is more likely to lead to conflict? All right, because customer service is about delivering the service and about managing what happens when we come into conflict. Let's look at it a little bit differently here. We were sharing that I'm actually coming to you from Orlando, Florida. All right, in Florida, and pretty much throughout the majority of the southeast of the United States, there are two places you can go to get your groceries. All right, two very well-known brands, and I can't overstress how much they dominate this market where I'm at right now. I can go to multiple choices of these two brands within a 5 to 10 mile radius of my home. Not one choice, not two choice. Each of these brands has at least 3 places I can go visit them. But look at their logos. Look at their motto, all right? Think about what they're saying here. One of them says, where shopping is a pleasure. And the other one says, always low prices. Those are great marketing campaigns, and they're very effective. They really, really work. But when you're looking at them, is a great marketing campaign all that's needed to bring in customers? Yes, okay, yes, it is, fine. And we're gonna be getting into that, but is it all you need to keep them coming back? Both of these brands are very, very successful for very, very specific niche targeted reasons, all right? But if you're looking at them, what is your motivator? Which one of those brands would you go to? And they have to be able to deliver on that, okay? Because no amount of marketing is going to get them to come back. If what they got in their experience with you the first time didn't deliver on what you were promoting through your marketing. Customer service, how you handle the interactions is critical to your success. So how do you choose? Let's look at it from a different point of view, all right? What comes to mind when you see that, that brand right there, right? I mean, honestly, seriously, is there anybody in this program right now who has not interacted with that brand? That is a global brand. Have you ever watched something that they created, visited something that they built, bought something that they sell? It is ubiquitous. Everybody knows that brand. When you think about the alignment between marketing and the customer experience, you start to see how they have to be inextricable, okay? At Disney, here at Disney World, I've spent almost 30 years at Walt Disney World. I know these two phenomenons, right? The marketing team, which is amazing at what they do, they had this bragging right. They would say, we deliver the promise. For those of us that worked on the front line in the park, we have to deliver the reality. How important is it when the marketing promise and the marketing reality, the delivery reality are in unison, all right? There was this bit where we were doing education programs and we would get groups that would not go on one of our attractions. It was the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, and they wouldn't go on the attraction because marketing was really good at what they did. And they had these brilliant commercials that showed people standing in the elevators when they were dropping, which is not the reality. You sit down in the elevator, you've got safety restraints, you've got all that kind of stuff. But the marketing was so good that the groups we had participating in our programs believed the marketing and wouldn't board the vehicle because they were afraid of being in a falling elevator while they were standing there. So is there something in your marketing, in your brand that states as clearly and as strongly what you represent? All right. And as you're thinking through this what can you do that will clearly ensure that the expression is an accurate and positive one. All right. Think that through. Now, if we're creating an experience, and by the way, you know what? Hold on a second. Notice my slide here does not say customer experience. All right. At Disney, we know that words matter. Words have power. And one of the very first things that we did was we changed our vocabulary, right? We do not have customers. We have guests. We have guest service. We create a guest expectation. We exceed guest expectations. And we say guests because there's a specific connotation that comes into your mind when you think about that. What's the difference between how you treat a guest in your home and the people who live in your home? So for us, no customers, we have guests, and we respect that relationship. Now, if you're trying to create a great guest experience, it's really not rocket science. You know how you like to be treated, and you can go through the same steps, do for others what you would like the service to be for you. And the very first one, and this has become a big thing lately. When's the last time you walked into a service provider or into an establishment and they couldn't even look up from whatever it was that they were doing? All right. Look at me, greet me. And if you're going to do that, how about smile at me? Let me know that you're happy that we're having this moment. Make yourself look friendly. Now, maybe you're in an environment like this where we can't really see each other, but you can still put a smile in your voice. You can make yourself sound approachable, somebody I want to engage with. This, maybe of all the things that I'm going to share with us this morning, is critical. And I'm going to be talking about this one piece in a couple of contexts, but I want to introduce it right now. Listen to me. And I'm not saying, let me talk. I'm saying, listen to what I'm actually saying, all right? Active listening. Then, thank me. We're human, okay? We're having an interaction. It doesn't hurt to say thank you at the end of that interaction, or thank you for giving me this opportunity to work with you. Thank you for giving me a call today. Oh, thank you. It was great meeting you today. Thank you for bringing this up. I want to be able to work with you. And this last one, this one here is gold. And I can prove it by this, okay? How does it make you feel when there's a place that you've been going to maybe a couple of times, right? And you know that it's because you like the service that you get and you like the product that they deliver. But then that next time you walk in and they look up at you, they smile, they say hi, and then they say those magic words. Oh, it's good to see you. Your usual? Whoa, they remember me. We now have transcended the transaction. We're now entering into the relationship status here, right? This is now an interaction. You remember me. If you just follow these 5 golden steps, it will radically improve your customer, your guest experience. Now, I will say that that's the goal, all right? There is a worksheet actually here. Let me show you here. There's a worksheet. It should have been a PDF. And if you have it, if you've printed it out, go ahead and grab this PDF. If you don't have the PDF, you can just grab a blank piece of paper. You can follow along on here. But this is an exercise. And I think you're going to find a lot of value in this if you follow along. There's 2 columns here, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to look at 2 brands that you are having experiences with, okay? So in the first column right here, write down where the happy face is, write down a brand that you like, a brand that you are returning to, that you keep going back to because of whatever it is, okay? You don't have to overthink it. Just go with your gut reaction. Why? Why is this your brand? The flip side, write down a brand that you wouldn't engage with again. Doesn't have to be complicated. It's just, no, I'm not going to that brand. I don't do business with that brand. I don't engage with that brand. And write down 3 or 4. And as you're thinking this through, I would love to bring somebody into this conversation with us. I want to take advantage of the opportunity that we have such a wide, diverse group with us. So I know Amber is watching the chat room. If somebody could raise their hand, Amber, I'm going to ask if you could bring in a brave soul to come into this conversation live with us and share with us the 2 or even one of the brands that they had right there. I don't know if John qualifies. John's trying to get in on this. He and I, we've had this conversation. I would love to meet somebody new.
I would too, and I can promote them to a panelist. We'd love to see you on screen. So just put it in the chat or raise your hand. I do have quite a few people on here, so don't be shy. We'd love to hear the brands that you like and that you don't like.
It doesn't have to be both of them either. If you only have one brand, you're like, oh, the minute you said a brand that I like, man, that was the one that popped into my head. I would love to know why. Or if same thing, if it was a brand, you're like, oh, nope, never going back to that. I would like to know why.
All right, don't be shy. Anybody? I would be happy to. Okay, is it, let me find you on here and I will promote you. It looks like there's a Kazia. I don't know if I'm saying your name right now. I apologize, but I'm going to promote you. So give me 1 second.
Yeah, Keziah.
And they should be joining us.
Now, Keziah, oh, good. I see you're off mute. And go ahead and turn your camera.
Awesome.
Hi, Keziah. How you doing?
Hi.
Where are you? Yes, where are you?
I'm a student at Indiana University Southeast.
Oh,
but
excellent
I am
choice.
At home currently.
So, Keziah, when we said think of 2 brands, which one popped into your head faster? The brand you like or the brand you don't like?
The brand I liked.
Brand you like, okay. And which brand was that?
It's a clothing brand, Rose and Remington.
Why? What is it about that brand that you're like, oh, that's my brand?
They have great customer service. I became familiar with them last year, and they have great quality clothes and low prices, reasonable prices, and the customer service is just exceptional. Every time I go in, they are very friendly, very helpful, and they just seem very interested in helping the customer rather than making money.
It's not lost on me that of the 3 things that you named, you said they have great quality, they have low prices, but the one that you said first was the customer service. Are there specific elements of the customer service that really have caught your attention?
They greet me when I walk in the door, and they always offer to help, and there's always a smile on the face of whoever's working that day.
Oh, that's fantastic. What they're doing is they're elevating it from, yes, we have a commodity you want, but you're building an affinity for it. And if you look at it, it's not just that they treat you well, they back it up with a product that you like and a price that you appreciate, and it's the customer service. And this is not going to come as a shock to anybody. Marketing 101. The reason we engage in marketing is because we are trying to establish our brand as something that we know, like, and trust. That's it. Know, like, and trust. Now, Kazia, is there? Did you also do one of a negative?
I did like the brand that I'm not as big a fan of would probably be Forever 21. That's just the first thing that came to my mind.
That's supposed to be, I'm sorry. I've been to the mall. I certainly don't shop at Forever 21. I don't think anything comes in my size. But why does that not resonate for you?
I don't know that it has to do with the service so much. It's just a very large store, so it's a little bit harder to navigate. And it's just not my preferred style of clothing.
Okay, so they're not reaching you where you are, all right? First off, it's the size of the place. Now, that's probably not the biggest turnoff. I mean, again, I'm coming from Walt Disney World, all right? Walt Disney World is huge, but people talk about the service, the experience that they have there. So size isn't the turnoff, but the way they manage the size, how they still personalize that is part of it. So it's interesting. For whatever reason, Forever 21, which should be your jam, I'm sorry, at least that's the way the interpretation I have of it, that doesn't work for you because you don't feel connected to the brand. In other words, it's the three things again. We don't have a brand that you know, like, or trust. You know what they are, but their options and choices don't really appeal to you, and they don't feel like they're treating you with the same personalized service that you get at your preferred clothing store. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Kazia. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Glad you're here. And kind of going down that path, here's what we can take away from this, right? Because what Kazia is saying is probably something that most of us have experienced. She didn't find what she was looking for, and maybe the personalized service wasn't there to help her locate what she was trying to find when she went in there. So they did not deliver on the promise of, we've got what you want. She did not get the service. Now, she's not going to be going back to shop at Forever 21 just because she's found somebody else that she likes better. But that's a miss on their part. They could have really won her over if they'd set up the experience tailored around her. And I know there's lots of customers, everybody's coming in, you still can personalize this experience, all right? But the fact that it wasn't personalized, that shaped her impression of the brand. And when you're thinking about those brands that you engage with or that you won't engage with anymore, how your impression has been shaped by that brand influences your next decision, your purchases moving forward, your desire to return. But did you tell anyone else about that experience? Did you share your impression of that brand with your friends, your inner circle, right? We're going to be talking about social media in the next 2 sessions. That's what social media is all about. Sharing what I like or what I don't like with the community. You can't disregard that. The customer experience is critical. And I don't want to get up on a soapbox here, but that really is the most important thing that you can do. Yes, have all the toys. Yes, have all the shiny marketing. But if you don't deliver the goods, when you get their attention, you can't earn their repeat. You got them the first time, but you're not going to get them to come back. And what happens when there really is a customer service dissatisfaction? When it doesn't work the way you expected it to? Tell you what, let's take this down to the next step here. I want to share with you another idea here. If you give me a second. Yeah. Oh, hold on. I want to pull this up. Okay. If you have a disconnect with somebody, and I just pulled this in because I think this is going to really help illustrate our conversation, right? Something hasn't gone perfectly, didn't go the way you wanted to, right? More often than that, your guest is going to share with you what the disconnect is, right? But you've got to be very careful in this situation about how you navigate through that conversation, right? At Disney World, if a guest comes charging up to you, they've usually got a situation they need you to help with. This is now a guest service recovery situation. We have a conflict. Your natural reaction is to want to throw all the defensive shields up and prepare yourself for battle. Stop right there. Don't do it. Bring the defenses down. Remember when I said that listening was your most powerful resource? But don't just listen. Listen with empathy, all right? Really lock in on the moment. It might be that the guest is really upset about things that are completely outside of your control. I mean, think about it. What would I agree? Oh, yes, I can see that you're upset, but I'm listening. I want to know why you're upset. And maybe it's over something I have no power to affect. When I'm doing a magic show, I will get a family member or somebody that will come up to me after the show and they want to tell me that it was a great show, except that I didn't call on their family member or bring their child up on stage to be in the show. There were hundreds of people. I can't have every single person come up on stage. I don't have a control over that. So when I'm listening with empathy, I'm looking for the areas where, no, I agree. Oh, your child had their heart set on being in the show. And I agree, I did not bring that show or bring that child up on show, whatever that is. But if I'm listening and really mapping through this, I have a shot at figuring out a way forward. What is the resolution? I can't rewind time. I can't go back. I can't bring your child up on stage. But you know what? I've got that little thing in my pocket right now. I can bring out something and I can perform a little bit of magic for that child. And that child, they can be there with me and they can help me do this. And maybe that's all that's needed, right? But I won't know that if I'm not listening. And while these steps seem simple, we overlook them so often. And I will tell you, the biggest obstacle is when we get defensive, when we throw those shields up and we prepare. And the reason we do it is because, gosh darn it, somebody just mashed one of my hot buttons, right? Oh, yeah, hot buttons. You've got hot buttons. You know people who have hot buttons. Your hot button is a huge obstacle in your being able to maintain the emotional neutrality that you need in order to engage in active listening, in order to be able to work through the process and find the resolution that you need. So let me ask you, do you know why that's a hot button for you? I will happily share with you what my hot button is. And by the way, write down in the chat, what is your number one hot button? It would be fascinating to see if everybody can identify that. But I'll tell you right now what mine is. My hot button is when somebody looks at me and says, that won't work. Or no, you can't do that. And I know for a fact that will set me off faster than anything else, because what I hear in my mind is, you're not good enough. And I'm thinking, you didn't even give it an opportunity. You didn't even let us try. That's my hot button. But here's what I've learned about controlling my hot button. And here's what I've learned about other people's hot buttons. And this is key, right? I have no control over what has happened to the other person, all right? I have no control over how they feel right now, but I do have complete control over me. I've got the ability to control my hot button, and I will decide if somebody else gets to push my hot button. Again, it's your hot button. You create it. You have the ability to control it. And that's how we achieve emotional neutrality. You all know what emotional neutrality is, right? I'm not talking about going Vulcan. I'm not talking about setting all your emotions aside. I'm talking about managing your emotions, all right? I would love it when somebody at Walt Disney World would get really wound up in a moment and they would come charging at me. And I know the very first thing that I can't do is go defensive. And so they would come up and sometimes they would literally just jam their finger in your chest or right there in your face. And they'd be like, I've got a problem. And I would just look at them and go, oh, that's awesome. Tell me what it is. Let's see what we can do. And the fact that I didn't throw up defenses, the fact that I didn't go into battle mode completely would catch them off guard. It diffused the emotion of the situation. And the next thing that I would do is I would just listen. And I would listen to what they were saying without assuming I know what the solution is. And I would ask questions. I wouldn't state my opinion. I don't have an opinion. This is their moment. All I want to know is the full story. And I mean that. There are people that what they want to do is they want to tell you the story. Most of us, we don't have time to hear the story. I've got things to do. So we try to preempt it and cut it off and come up with a solution fast. don't do it. Let them share their story. And by active listening and asking those clarifying questions, you have a much better opportunity to understand what's really going on here. And you can evaluate what the path forward is. But this, and I mean this is key. Don't judge them, okay? You aren't them. You have no idea what has been happening in their life before this point. You don't know how their morning went. You don't know what their home life is like. You don't know what's going on. You don't walk in their shoes. So don't judge. That is how we can achieve these steps. Really, the part of this is typically they're not mad at you. They're not even mad with the situation, but I'm not listening to that. I'm listening to you vent. And what I'm really doing is I'm waiting for you to take a breath so that I can add my solution and my 2 cents. Don't. The biggest mythology of communication is that it has happened because we're not actively listening, right? We're not listening to understand. We're just listening to say our piece. We're listening to provide our solution. We're listening to tell you why it's not our fault. That is not customer service. That is not building the relationship. So just step back, keep your emotions out of it. They've got enough emotions for the both of us. So to kind of bring this in here, if we're trying to provide the best customer experience, sorry, not customer, guest. If we're trying to provide the best guest experience, what are we going to base it on? Is it going to be based on a transaction, or is it going to be based on the interaction, the experience? Think about it. Why? What are you doing? How are you building those relationships? There are always ways that you can improve and build on your relationships. I've shared quite a few of them in just the last 20 minutes, all right? But it comes down to what marketing is about. Marketing is about establishing a brand that people know, like, and trust. And people will do business with individuals, services, organizations that they know, like, and trust. We have got to stop treating everything like it's a transaction and start building those relationships even more now than we ever have before. I hope that there has been some great content in here for you. And again, I would be happy to share all of these slides with you. If you would just drop me an email, I will send you the slides that I have been using. All right. And while we're talking real quick, if you've had an aha moment, if you've had that spark where you're like, oh, okay, I get why this is important, or I see how I can apply this, go ahead and share that with our group as well. Put that into the chat box. But I made a brand promise when we started this. So I'm going to bring in the other panelists here. So John can come back and Amber can come back and join with us because it's the interactive time now. Are you ready to do something together, John?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, Amber, we're going to get everybody together here. Now, I can only, and I want to be clear about this, I can only see John and Amber. I can't see everybody else. So they're sort of our surrogates on screen, and they don't know what I'm going to do. But this is the interactive element that I promised. I'm sorry, I'm just having my boss is just looking over my shoulder right back there. See that? Yeah, he's watching me right over there. But I told you to gather up some materials. We're going to create an interactive magic because that's my promise. I told you to find 3 pieces of paper, all right? Again, it could be index cards, or just if you had to, you could take a sheet of paper and tear it into 3 pieces, but you wanna have 3 of those pieces of paper, okay? Just get those Post-it notes will work just fine. You also needed a pen, all right? So find yourself a pen. And on your first piece of paper, I want you to write the number 1, okay? So take a piece of paper, write the number 1 on it, and then place that piece of paper down on the desk in front of you where I can't see it. Well, I can't see it except for John and Amber, and I can't see what they're doing because they're putting it down on the desk in front of them. Now grab the next piece of paper, and this time you're going to write the number 2, right? Place that one in the center of your desk. So you've got a piece of paper now to your left, you've got 1 in the center, and this may come as a surprise to you, but on the remaining piece of paper, write the number 3, right? And you'll place that one down to the right. So from left to right, you now have 3 pieces of paper on the table that say 1, 2, and 3. You already have your pen, all right? I also asked you to find a key. It doesn't have to be as old and antique as mine. I'm just a geek that way. And also, you want to have a coin. Any coin will do. It doesn't have to be a fancy gold pirate doubloon like this. Any coin will be fine. So we have a pen, a key, and a coin. You're going to decide. You're going to put one of those objects on each of those pieces of paper. So where are you going to put the coin? Where are you going to put the key? And where are you going to put the pen? I can't see what you're doing, and that's key. All right? Think about this now. I'll give you a set of instructions. Just follow along with the instructions, kind of the way that you would do if you were engaging with a customer. If you were providing a service, you usually have to tell them how to use your product or your service. So let me tell you how to use these items that I've given you, all right? You've got 3 pieces of paper, you've got 3 items. What I would like you to do is I would like you to switch the coin with the pen. So whatever piece of paper the coin is on, switch it with the pen. So they trade places. Got it? All right. Second step, switch whatever is on number 1 with whatever is on number 2. All right. I love the fact that even though I can't see John and Amber, they're trying to hide their emotions. Is that Amber sneaking down a little bit there? So I can't even see what she's doing right there, right? I think
I'm
some
actually
of you
competing with Amber. I'm trying
Yeah.
faster and better than Amber.
All right. Now, for the next one, I'm going to ask you to switch the pen to the right. If the pen is already in the position all the way to the right, leave it there. But if it's not, switch the pen with whatever object is to its right, okay? Switch the key to the left. If the key is already all the way to the left, leave it there. But if it's not, switch the key with whatever object is to its left. Switch the coin to the right. Maybe I'm watching you. Maybe I'm really got some secret technology here so I can see what you all are doing. So I don't know precisely where your objects are, and I don't even want to know. So how about this? Switch whatever's on number 2 with whatever is on number 3. I have no idea what they are. And then finally, switch whatever's on number 1 with whatever is on number 3. Got it? You've gone through a lot of steps. We've built this relationship. I don't know what moves you made. I don't know if you had to move an object or if it was already where it needed to be. I don't know where you placed the objects when you started, but I want to create a special moment for us. There's an object on number 3. Whatever that object is, I want you to pick up that object. I want you to hold it in your hand like this. All right? Don't even have to put it on camera, but you have an object. Remember when I said that my boss was hanging out over my shoulder right over there? He's also holding something. It's been there the entire time. If you have been watching, you know I have gone nowhere near that. I have not touched anything. It's a non-Disney quote, but it is one of my favorites. This is a Harry Houdini quote. It says, "My brain is the key that sets me free. trust me, our mind and how we use it is our greatest resource. The object that you're holding in your hand is a key. Your mind is the key that is going to elevate your efforts in this session, the things that you do next, and in the next 2 sessions. If you had fun with that, give us a thumbs up in the chat box. I hope that you enjoyed that, but we've only got time's flying. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that. And John, I think there was a couple more things. So we're going to back this out. We're going to open this up to the forum conversation now for the question and answer, things like that. All right. But as you guys are still hanging out, if you're having those aha moments, drop them into the chat boxes, share it with the larger community. Let us know what your takeaway is here and how you're planning to apply these principles, because we learn best from each other. But I want to bring this back to John and to Amber. And again, thank you so much for letting me be a part of this and kicking off Marketing Palooza. I love this interactivity. I love when I can do these programs in person. If you're interested in the type of things that I do, if you'd like in-person instruction, I'm happy to come to Canada. I've got a passport. I'm ready to travel as soon as they will let me. Gosh, I miss being able to go to Europe. And if you want to do some of these virtual sessions, I've got a whole slate of these on leadership, teamwork development, and establishing and improving your creativity. But let's open this up into the Q&A that we had planned right now.
Yes, thank you, James. So just a reminder, this is open Q&A, so make sure that you post over here on the comment board. We do have David asked if he can get a script to the question, but at first he didn't put it in the form of a question, so we were going to ignore it, but then he followed instructions. So we appreciate that, David. Is there a way they can get the script to this trick?
The script to the effect?
To the effect trick.
Yeah, sorry. Remember, did I say words are important?
Okay, to the
Yeah, see, I do not
You did.
perform magic tricks. I perform
Oh.
magic effects.
Okay,
A trick
okay.
makes it sound cheap. Calling it an effect makes it sound impressive, and you can charge more.
Oh, no. That's Marketing
So are you charging?
Palooza.
You are charging
Okay.
if they want the effect, right?
David,
That's right.
You can get the steps if you email James at betterleadershipskills.com. Does that sound good? If anyone wants to,
I will take it on a case-by-case basis.
Okay.
Magicians are I'll give you all of the training techniques that I know. Magicians are very hesitant to tell you how we do something.
They'll take it under consideration. They'll take it under consideration.
I'm not saying no, I'm saying let's talk.
I will say before, because I know people are starting to drop off because lunch is over, make sure that you connect with all 3 of us on LinkedIn. Make sure that you look us up. All 3 of us are there, and we enjoy doing what we do. We love doing what we do. That's why we're here. So connect with us on LinkedIn. Look us up there. You can email any of us. Find us on there and connect with us. Message us, whatever you need. But any other questions?
So John, while we're waiting for questions, I didn't see you reveal a key in your hand. So do you know your left from right?
I'm not telling you what was in my hands. So
I'm kidding.
I don't know if the effect worked or not, James. I'm not telling you. So
All right, we do have a question. It says,
did.
as a marketing professional, I am interested by research that traditional marketing is quickly losing its effectiveness and that a company could double their marketing investment and only increase their revenue by 1%. From your presentation, James, do you think companies should focus less on the promise and more on the execution, customer service?
I think there's a lot to be said about that's what's happening is we've gotten very good at marketing. We have gotten incredibly effective at making those promises, and we're forgetting that the promise isn't the product. The relationship, the service is the product. And so people are losing faith in watching it. Once upon a time, I mean, if we were to take a step back, once upon a time, I could only see X number of commercials in a day, right? It depended on how long I was reading a magazine or if I was watching television. But now we live in a world where everything is messaging. Everything is marketing. And we are seeing not 100 commercials in a day. We are seeing thousands of commercials in a day, and everyone promises everything. So yes, first off, marketing is exponentially more saturated than it ever was before. Everybody has become a marketer, and we are losing our credibility as marketers. So the marketers who back up their promise, and it's why I'm preaching about the fact that word of mouth, the way people talk about your brand, what they share with others about your brand, is perhaps even more important now than the marketing that you're using.
Just a brief addition to that, I would also say that's a very narrow view of marketing. The people that are saying that, that's very narrow. Marketing's huge, and you're not using it to its full capability if that's your belief. So not to what you said, James, you were 100% spot on. I'm saying the question that was put up there. So.
All right. And we have some great comments too. I do want to say that. So it was both informative and entertaining. Great program. Okay. So your favorite book that any of us college students need to read to better ourselves. So we do have a lot of IUS students, and I'm sure from other areas. So yeah, what's a favorite book that they should be reading?
Oh, me? Oh my Lord. I've got a list. I've got a list of favorite books. I'm a very uncomplicated person. I like books that have a story, that tell their story, perhaps even in allegory form. I will say of the last year, the two books that have had the biggest, strongest impact on me, and John, you're going to laugh at one of these. One of them is Jonathan Livingston Seagull. See, I can see you rolling your eyes. You don't even remember Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Jonathan Livingston Seagull is about pushing ourselves past what we thought were our own limits and being bigger, moving on to the next level. And I don't want to say more about it. It's a children's story, but the message in it, and it's a quick read. It's a really thin little quick read, but it's such a strong message. The second book that I record, actually, you know what? I'm going to give you three books. The second book, and this is for those of us that found the world turned upside down this last year. It was the very first book I reached for off my bookshelf, was Who Moved My Cheese? And it's about resilience. It's about saying, oh, you know what? The world changed. Okay, fine. What's next? How do I move forward? And at the time, it was a book written for middle managers about having to do career changes. In my opinion, this last year, that book was prophecy. If you haven't read Who Moved My Cheese, get yourself a copy of it. Again, it's a short, easy read, but if you follow the outline and the steps in there, it will make a huge difference. And the third book I'm going to promote right here, not my book. By the way, if you want to read my book, it's free. It's in progress right now. It's on my blog back at my website. I've got a blog going, and I'm just writing all my life lessons in a blog form. Maybe I'll put them together someday and compile a book out of it, but we'll see how that goes. So instead, I'll promote this one right here. Again, right off my own bookshelf right here. This was written by Marty Sklar, who was the director of Imagineering. He started out as Walt's speechwriter. There's a lot of things that are in here, but the thing that I think has the biggest impact in here, and I'm going to flip through it and see if I can find it real fast. There is a thing that Marty called Mickey's 10 Commandments. And if you are trying to improve your customer experience, your guest experience, Marty outlines it in Mickey's 10 Commandments in here, and it will radically, fundamentally change how you view what you do and the best method for getting your customers to know, like, and trust you.
So we're actually giving away 7 of those books of One Little Spark. If you are interested and are available to go pick them up at One Southern Indiana, please put so in the comments, because I mean, yeah. So if you're interested and able to go pick them up, write in the comments.
I'll take the first 7. So the first 7 comments get it. James, can you remind us again the name of the first book? I didn't catch that.
The name of the first book is Jonathan Livingston. Try that again. Jonathan Livingston Seagull by, I believe it was Richard Bach is the author of that book. It's very transcendental, but I think there's a great message in it. The second book is Who Moved the Cheese, or Who Moved My Cheese. I would have to find, yeah, it's Who Moved My Cheese. I've got the copy here. So actually it's probably over on my desk right now because I've been reading it. Great book. And then of course, One Little Spark, which John, you have 7 copies to give away?
We do. And for James's free book, which, you know, eventually will be free, go to his website. You can sign up and follow him there. And then that way you'll be notified. And then you can say, hey, you promised I'd get it for free, when he's trying to charge $49.99 for it.
Yeah. As soon as it gets published. Right now, I'm having so much fun just writing it as a blog. I'm enjoying just writing it. It's what I consider are the life lessons that I have learned in my time as a magician and at Walt Disney World. I don't want to tell you the name of the book eventually, because you know you're going to steal it. But it's about the life lessons I've learned in my career at Walt Disney World and as a magician.
Well, thank you very much, James, for your time. We do have time for one more question. We want to be respectful of your time. We do have one more question that came through, and I'm looking for it. So many people replied that they wanted the book.
So I think I've got the top 7, but I actually went a little further. So I will reach out to you when those books are here and ready for you to pick up. So give me just a little bit of time, but I'll reach out to you. So if you get an email from me, that means you won the book. It's called One Little Spark, right? Those are the 7 copies we're giving out?
Right. Yes.
Excellent.
By Marty Sklar.
Awesome.
Okay, here we go.
So we do have another question. You got it, John?
The final question, I have it right here. Yeah, I found it.
Go ahead.
Okay, so James, if you work in an industry that competitors have almost identical service and technology, is it better, do you think, to set branding that is different, or to look like the other guys so you can ride their coattails? Go.
That's a great question for a magician, because a magician has this tendency to want to follow the trend of whatever the popular magician is right now. But my mantra, what I have adopted, is that it is much better to be yourself, to differentiate yourself from the others by being who you are. Because quite frankly, there's already a David Copperfield. There's already a Penn and Teller, all right? I'm never going to be the next best Penn and Teller. I'm just a copycat. So if I'm trying to establish who I am, I've got to admire and maybe be inspired by other enterprises. And there's nothing wrong with doing industry checks. People that work in hospitality, they stay in other people's hotels. They want to use their shampoo and their soaps, and they want to test the beds and stuff like that. They're looking to see what other industry standards are. I go to as many magic shows as I can, but I'm not trying to be any of them. What I'm looking for is, what is the audience responding to? And how do I provide them with my best offer, who I am, my authentic self, so that they will appreciate that? Because at the end of the day, if you're just trying to differentiate yourself by saying, I'm just like them, but cheaper, or I'm just like them, but faster, then you're not delivering what they're looking for. What they want for is what's uniquely you, what's different about you. And magicians, you can't swing you can't swing a tourist in Orlando without hitting somebody that probably does magic. This is outside of Las Vegas. I think there are more magicians in Orlando per capita than any other city. All right. Every hotel, every theme park, every resort has got somebody who's doing magic. So how is it that we can be successful in that market? Because they don't have you. Be you. You yourself are the differentiator. And that's what they're going to appreciate. Stop trying to be the best somebody else. Be the best you.
And I can speak for James's differentiating factor. He does magic. He has very similar effects to many other people. However, he does magic with a mission, right? You have messages with your magic. You have life lessons. And in this case, as of 2018, you started incorporating leadership and teamwork and all these things, incorporating with your message. So
I discovered along the way that my biggest differentiator really is that if you're a magician, you perform for an audience. You perform at an audience. What I wanted to do was I wanted to elevate that to the interaction, to the conversation. I wanted to stop performing for them and at them. I wanted to talk with them. I wanted to work with them. I want it to be an engagement level that I cannot have when I'm standing on a stage and I can't even see past the front row because there's lights in my eyes. So when I do a magic show now, and I'm still an active magician, I'm performing at the resorts here, but I'm trying very hard to change the dynamic of the shows that I do so that I can have that level of engagement, the same kind of engagement that we're having here. I don't want to perform at them. I don't want to lecture at them. I don't want to talk at them. I want to have that engagement with my audience. And at the end of the night, I want us to know that this is an actual relationship and we are friends.
All right. Well, join me in giving James a round of applause so you can show via your emoticons or whatever you have out there. Thank you very much, James. Make sure that
It was an honor.
That you tune into the next two with Jen and Daryl. Jen will be the 22nd and Daryl is the 30th, Friday the 30th, where we can learn more about social media and how we can convert to customers, potential social media viewers into our customers and guests. So thank you very much, James, for joining us. Thank you, Amber, for hosting and for doing all the organization and getting us going. And thank you to our great sponsors. Again, make sure that you join up or do whatever you can to support our sponsors. One Southern Indiana, IU Southeast School of Business, and their great degrees. Of course, one Southern, I already said that, One Southern Indiana. Oh, Caesars Southern Indiana. And of course, leadership411.com. Thank you all very much. I hope you have an excellent day.
It was great. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, John.
Thank you, James. See you guys next week.